Good morning students, this is biology lecture for class 11th, chapter number 6, anatomy of flowering plants, and this is our lecture number 2. In today's lecture, we will study about complex permanent tissues. Those are xylem and phloem. So what is complex permanent tissue? Complex permanent tissues are made up of more than one type of cells and they work together as a unit. Okay, so in a tissue, more than one type of cells are present, but all the type of cells combinedly work to perform a particular function. So such type of tissue is called complex permanent tissue. You know about the simple permanent tissue that you have done in the previous lecture. In simple permanent tissue, all the cells are of same type, right? But here in the complex permanent tissue, different type of cells are found which work together to perform a particular function. Okay. Now, the complex permanent tissues are of two types. In plants, two types of complex permanent tissues are found, xylem and phloem. So let's start with xylem. It functions as conductive tissue for water. Means it helps in the conduction of water and minerals from roots to stem and leaves. As you know, roots of the plant absorb water and minerals from the soil. Okay, and this water along with minerals is then transported to the different parts of the plant like stem and leaves. So with the help of which tissue plant is conducting this water and mineral from roots to stems and leaves? With the help of xylem, right? Xylem provides mechanical strength to plant parts. So other than this function, other than the function of conduction of water and minerals, xylem also provide mechanical strength to the plant parts, which is very important for the plant life. Now, xylem is composed of four kinds of elements. As we know that complex permanent tissues are made up of more than one type of cells. Okay, so these four kinds of cells, or you can say elements, are found in xylem, and these are tracheids, vessels, xylem fibers, xylem parenchyma. So here you can see more than one type of cells are present here, and together they are making a common tissue, that is xylem. That's why xylem is a complex type of permanent tissue. Okay, all these are combinedly work to perform the function of conduction of water and mineral. Now let's start with the first element of the xylem, that is tracheids. So tracheids are elongated tube-like dead cells. Here you see these are the diagrams for tracheids which are found in xylem tissue. Okay, and these tracheids are, you can see these are elongated and tube-like. Okay, so these are elongated tube-like and these are dead cells, means protoplasm is absent. Okay, so these are dead cells with thick and lignified walls and tapering ends. You can see here these tapering ends here, means pointed ends you can see here. So tapering ends are present in tracheids and their walls are thick and lignified. Thick and lignified means lignin is deposited in cell walls, due to which these cell walls becomes thick, right? And protoplasm is absent. That's why these are dead cells. The inner layers of cell walls have thickenings which vary in form. Due to lignin deposition, their cell wall becomes thick, but this thickening can vary. In some tracheids, it can be more thick, and in some tracheids, it can be less thick. In flowering plants, tracheids and vessels are the main water transporting elements. In flowering plants, or you can say in angiosperms. In angiosperms, tracheids and vessels, both these elements of xylem are the main water transporting elements, means these are the main parts of the xylem which help in transportation of water. Now next part of xylem, that is vessels, and here you can see this diagram of vessel also. So it is a long cylindrical tube like structure made up of many cells. You see here this is long cylindrical structure. You can see this cylindrical shape here. Okay, so this is long cylindrical tube like structure, and it is made up of many cells. Okay, and it is not a single cell. The complete vessel is not a single cell. It is made up of many cells. Okay, many cells combinedly make a vessel, and all the cells of the vessel are called vessel members, right? The cells present in the vessel are called vessel members, each with lignified walls. So like tracheids, here also their walls have a deposition of lignin. That's why we are saying lignified walls, and a large central cavity. So here you can see this is cylindrical shape. Okay, and in the center there will be large central cavity. Protoplasm is absent here, so it means these are also dead cells. So vessels are also dead. Vessel also have dead cells. Vessel members, means cells of the vessels, are interconnected through perforations in their common walls. Many cells combinedly make a vessel. Okay, so all these vessel members or all these cells of vessels are interconnected with each other because their walls are in connection with each other. Okay, and their walls have pores, and that's why their walls are called perforated walls. And these pores present in the walls of vessel members, or you can say cells of the vessels, have pores. Okay, and through these pores these cells are interconnected. Okay, walls of these cells are interconnected, and that's why these are combinedly making a complete vessel. So perforated walls, or the walls having perforation or pores, are present in vessel. The vessels are a characteristic feature of angiosperm because vessels are absent in gymnosperms. That's why we are saying it is a characteristic feature of angiosperms, because vessels are found only in flowering plants, only in angiosperms. These are not present in gymnosperms. Next element of xylem is xylem fibers, and xylem fibers have highly thickened walls. Their walls are also thick, and obliterated central lumens. Obliterated central lumen means their lumen is very small in size. Okay, ruptured type of lumen is present here. As you can see here, this is xylem fiber. Okay, and the central part is the lumen. Okay, but this lumen is not well developed, so it is called obliterated. Very small lumen is present here in the fiber, and their walls are very thick. Okay, as you can see here, thickening of walls, right? So their walls are thick and their lumen is very small or obliterated. They are septate or aseptate. So two types of fibers are found in xylem. Here you can see a diagram of both septate and aseptate type of fiber. This is septate xylem fiber. Septate means septa is present, a type of cross wall is present here. You can see this fiber is divided into many sections. Okay, so cross walls, or you can say septa, is present between the members of xylem fiber. But here you can see there is no cross wall or septa, so such type of fibers are called aseptate fibers. Okay, now next element of xylem is xylem parenchyma. Living and thin walled cells with cellulosic cell walls. So xylem parenchyma part has living and thin walled cells with cellulosic cell wall. So here these cells have protoplasm, and these cells are living cells, and these have very thin wall with cellulosic cell walls. As you have studied about the parenchymatous tissue in case of simple permanent tissue, right? You know about the simple permanent tissue, and in that you studied about one type of simple permanent tissue, that is parenchymatous tissue. Okay, so here also cells of xylem parenchyma are also similar to that. Okay, these are also similar to the simple permanent type of tissue, that is parenchymatous tissue cells, right? So cells are living cells and thin walled cells with cellulosic cell walls. So that means in their cell walls cellulose is present. Now what is their function? What is the function of parenchyma here? They store food material, that is starch or fat. Okay, so food is stored in the form of starch, mainly in the form of starch. In the plants, food is stored in the form of starch mainly, or it can be in the form of fat and other substances like tannins. So these are also some secondary metabolites in plants which are stored inside the parenchyma, xylem parenchyma. Radial conduction of water takes place by ray parenchymatous cells. So see here, this is the diagram for complete xylem tissue. Okay, and here you can see all the elements of xylem tissue. Here, outermost portion, this is this purple color portion shown here. This is xylem parenchyma. Okay, having thin walled living cells. Then here, this is xylem fiber. These are xylem vessels. You can see this cylindrical structure on both sides. These are xylem vessels. Okay, and in the center, this is trachea. So mainly tracheids and vessels. These are important for the conduction of water and minerals. Okay, tracheids in the center and vessels on both sides of the trachea. These are responsible for the conduction of water and mineral. And these are dead tissues. Okay, these are having dead cells, and this xylem parenchyma cells are responsible for food storage, and these just provide the support to these xylem elements, and these are helping in the conduction of water and minerals. Indirectly, these are helping vessels and tracheids to transport the water and minerals. Now, primary xylem is of two types. Primary xylem means the xylem which appear in early life stage of plant. Okay, xylem which appear in later life stage of the plant means at the time of secondary growth of the plant is called secondary xylem. About that also you will study in this chapter later on. For now, primary xylem that appear early life cycle of the plant. Okay, so this primary xylem is of two types, protoxylem and metaxylem. Right, so for now xylem is of two types, protoxylem and metaxylem. You can see here, this is protoxylem and this is metaxylem. Right, protoxylem is the first formed primary xylem. Right, xylem that appear first. So first formed primary xylem is called protoxylem, and later formed primary xylem is called metaxylem. So it is formed later and it is formed first. Now there is difference between the position of protoxylem and metaxylem in case of stems and roots. So see here, in case of stems, protoxylem lies towards the center, that is pith area. If we cut a cross section of the stem, then in the center of the stem there will be pith. Okay, and around that pith there will be xylem and phloem and other tissues. Right, now in stems, protoxylem lies towards the center, means in center there is pith, and just outside the pith there will be protoxylem. As you can see here, this is the cross section of a stem, of a dicot stem, dicotyledonous stem. Right, so this is pith area, this is the central most area, in the center pith like this is present. Okay, now just outside the pith, this part is protoxylem. As you can see here, this is protoxylem. Okay, so in stems, what is happening? Protoxylem is present towards the center and metaxylem present towards the periphery. As you can see here, protoxylem is present here because this is center, so this is present towards the center, and metaxylem is present towards the periphery. If we assume it like this, a center. Okay, so this is the central part, that is pith, and just here means towards the center protoxylem is present, and towards the periphery this metaxylem is present, and such an arrangement is called endark. Such an arrangement is called endark arrangement, and endark condition is found in stems. Okay, so this type of primary xylem is called endark. Now a different type of arrangement is found in case of roots. What happen in roots? In roots, protoxylem lies towards periphery and metaxylem lies towards the center. As you can see here, this is the cross section, the transverse section of dicot root. Okay, and in root here, this is the central part. Okay, this is pith part. This one is the central part, that is pith part. So towards the center here you can see this part is metaxylem. So we can say metaxylem is present towards the center and protoxylem is present towards the periphery. Okay, so this is peripheral part. So as you can see here, protoxylem is present towards the periphery and metaxylem is present towards the center, and such an arrangement is called exarch arrangement. Okay, and such type of primary xylem is called exarch. So these different types of arrangements are found in stems and root. Now next type of complex permanent tissue is phloem. Now what is the function of phloem? It transports food material from leaves to other parts. As you know, food is formed inside the leaves of plant. Okay, now all the parts of the plant need food for their growth and development. That's why from the leaves this food is transported to different parts of the plant with the help of phloem tissue. Now phloem in angiosperms composed of, in flowering plants, phloem is composed of these elements. So these like xylem, these 4 elements are found in phloem also, because this is also a complex permanent tissue. So these 4 different elements are found in phloem, and these are sieve tube elements, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. Now in gymnosperms, sieve tube elements and companion cells are absent. Okay, so we can say sieve tube elements and companion cells are the characteristic feature of angiosperms only, right? In place of these, in gymnosperms, albuminous cells and sieve cells are present, right? In place of sieve tubes and companion cells, in case of gymnosperms, albuminous cells and sieve cells are found. Now let's do about all these elements of phloem. Let's start with the sieve tube elements. So sieve tube elements, these are long tube-like structures arranged longitudinally. As you can see here in the center, okay, this is a complete phloem tissue, and here in the center you can see this is sieve tube element, right? So this is long structure, you can see tube-like structure. Okay, this tube-like structure you can see here, arranged longitudinally and are associated with the companion cells. As you can see here, just outside the sieve tube element, this these pink color cells, these are companion cells. Okay, so we can say that these are associated with companion cells. Okay, so in the center of the phloem, this is the sieve tube element, and just in association of sieve tube elements, these are companion cells. Okay, these companion cells are present this side also, right? Now their end walls are perforated, means pores are present. Perforated means pores are present in their end walls to form the sieve plates. Sieve like a chalni. Okay, so sieve plate will be formed due to presence of pores. As you can see here, these are the end walls of sieve tube elements. Okay, this is the end wall. Here also this is the end wall. Okay, and you can see these pores in the end walls of these sieve tube elements. These are the pores. That's why we are saying these are perforated end walls, right? And these are making this complete structure is called sieve plate. So these are sieve pores, and this complete structure will be called sieve plate. So sieve plates are present here in sieve tube elements. Now a mature sieve element has a peripheral cytoplasm and a large vacuole. Means when the sieve tube element get mature, then what happen? Its cytoplasm get shifted towards the peripheral ends. Okay, it get shifted towards the peripheral part of it. And in the center, if no cytoplasm is present in the center, then a vacuole will develop in the center, right? So a large vacuole is present and cytoplasm is present at the periphery, but lacks nucleus. Means here nucleus is not present in sieve tube elements. Now if nucleus is not present, because in a cell nucleus is very important part and it controls the metabolic function of the complete cell. Okay, it is the control center for the cell. It controls all the functions of cell. Then how the functions of sieve tube elements will be controlled? The functions of sieve tubes are controlled by nucleus of companion cells, right? So this is an interesting thing about it, that these companion cells which are present in association with these sieve tube elements have nucleus, and their nucleus control the function of sieve tube elements also, because sieve tube elements are not having any nucleus. Now the first formed primary phloem, like primary xylem, primary phloem is also the phloem which is seen in the early life stages of the plant. So first formed primary phloem is called protophlorium, consists of narrow sieve tubes. Okay, so in protophlorium sieve tubes are narrow, and in later formed phloem, that is called metaphlorium. It is also like protoxylem and metaxylem, right? Which is formed primarily is called protophlorium, and which is formed later on, it is called metaphlorium. Okay, so in protophyllum sieve tubes are narrow, and in metaphlorium sieve tubes are bigger, right? These sieve tube elements, as you can see here, these are narrow in case of protophlorium and these are bigger in case of metaphlorium. Now function of sieve tube elements: conduction of food material from leaves. So this is the main part of phloem which help in conduction of food from leaves to other parts of the plant. Next element of phloem tissue is companion cells, and companion cells are specialized parenchymatous cells. Means these are cells are of parenchymatous here. So specialized parenchymatous cells are present in companion cells associated with sieve tube elements. As you have seen in the diagram, sieve tube elements are in association with companion cells, right? Sieve tube elements and companion cells are connected by pit fields present between their common longitudinal walls. Okay, obviously because the nucleus of companion cell is responsible for controlling the functions of sieve tube elements. So there must be a connection between these two, right? So how these cells are connected, how the sieve tube element and the companion cells are connected? These are connected by pit fields. Okay, a type of pores present between their common longitudinal wall. This is called longitudinal wall because this is a sieve tube element. Okay, and these are companion cells on both sides. You can see here this one and this one on both sides of sieve tube element. These are companion cells. So this is their common wall. Okay, common wall between sieve tube element and the companion cell. So some kind of pores are present here which are called pit fields. So pit fields are present here to connect them with each other, so that nucleus of companion cell can control the function of sieve tube element. Okay, this is another diagram for the complete phloem tissue. You can make the diagram that you found easy. Okay, you can make this diagram or the last one. So function of companion cells. Companion cells maintain pressure gradient in sieve tubes. So one function is that they are controlling their functions because their nucleus is controlling their function, and also they help in maintaining the pressure gradient. Pressure gradient is required to transport the food through the sieve tube element. Okay, as you know the function of sieve tube element, its function is to transport the food, and for the transportation of that food there is requirement of a pressure, because with the help of that pressure only that food can be transported. And how this pressure gradient is maintained? It is maintained by companion cells, right? So function of companion cell is to help in the conduction, is to help in the transportation of food through the sieve tube element by maintaining the pressure gradient. Next type of phloem element is phloem parenchyma. So as you can see the name parenchyma means cells are of parenchymatous here also. Okay, so these are parenchymatous cells, and it is made up of elongated, tapering, cylindrical cells. You can see here in the diagram, this part is phloem parenchyma. Okay, this part is phloem parenchyma, and cells of phloem parenchyma are elongated and cylindrical cells. You can see the cylindrical shape here. Okay, and these cells have dense cytoplasm and nucleus. Usually the parenchymatous cells have dense cytoplasm, so these cells also have dense cytoplasm. Okay, so both companion cells and phloem parenchymatous cells both have dense cytoplasm, and you know companion cells are also parenchymatous type cells, right? So these have dense cytoplasm and these have nucleus also. Now the cell wall is composed of cellulose, means their cell wall is made up of cellulose and has pits through which plasmodesmatal connections exist between the cells. So these cells are connected with each other. There are different type of connections between the walls of cells to connect the cells with each other. Okay, like gap junctions, plasmodesmatal connections. Okay, so these are a type of connections to connections between the cells. Okay, you will study about these connections also later on in 11th class only. So plasmodesmatal connections are present to connect the cells with each other. Phloem parenchyma is absent in most of the monocots. So in monocots, it is in most of the monocots, not all the monocots. Okay, so in most of the monocots, phloem parenchyma is absent. What is function of phloem parenchyma? It stores food material and other substances like resin, latex and mucilage. So like parenchyma, in case of xylem parenchyma also, you know the function of xylem parenchyma, you can compare it with it. So it will be easy to keep remember the things. Okay, so xylem parenchyma also that was helping in storage of food, right? And here also phloem parenchyma function is also to store the food material and some secondary metabolites of the plant like resins, latex and mucilage. Okay, these are the substances for human welfare which are produced inside the plant. So resin, latex and mucilage, these are also stored inside the xylem parenchyma. Next type of phloem element is phloem fibers or bast fibers. Phloem fibers is also called bast fiber. So these bast fiber are made up of sclerenchymatous cells. You already have studied about sclerenchymatous cells in simple permanent tissues in previous lecture, right? So these are those sclerenchymatous cells. Now generally absent in primary phloem. So phloem fiber is generally not found in primary phloem because it appears in later life stages of the plant at the time of secondary growth of plant when the secondary phloem is formed. Okay, so it is generally found in secondary phloem and it is absent in primary phloem. Now these phloem fibers are elongated, unbranched and have pointed needle-like apices. So their ends are pointed and needle-like, and these are elongated and unbranched, and their cell wall is quite thick. As you have already studied about sclerenchymatous cells in the previous lecture, so you know that their cell wall is thick, right? At maturity, these cells lose protoplasm and become dead. So this thing also I hope you know, because you have studied in previous lecture that protoplasm is not present in sclerenchymatous cells. Okay, because at the time of maturity they lost their protoplasm, and if protoplasm is not present, it means these are dead cells. Okay, so these are dead cells at the time of maturity. So these bast fibers are, you can see, these are made up of dead sclerenchymatous cells. Now phloem fibers of jute, flax and hemp are used commercially. As you can see here, these ropes, this type of fibers which are used for making ropes are bast fibers or phloem fibers. Okay. So these are fibers of jute, flax and hemp, and you know the commercial use of ropes. Okay. So phloem fibers of all these are used commercially. Now what is function of phloem fibers? It is to provide mechanical support and protection to soft tissues. Okay, because it is present on outer side of the phloem tissue, on outermost side of the phloem tissue. So it just provide the mechanical support and protection to the inner soft tissues of the plant. Okay. Now based on today's topics, your homework is NCERT question number 7, and make all the diagrams of all the components of xylem and phloem that you have studied in today's lecture. Now let's discuss the answer of question number 1 of NCERT that I gave in homework, and this is the answer. The location and function of different types of meristems are as follows. Okay, so there are 3 types of meristem: apical meristem, intercalary meristem and secondary meristem. That is also called lateral meristem. Okay. Now apical meristem location is at the apex of root and shoot, or you can say root and shoot tips. And what is its function? Forms primary tissue and increase the length of plant. Okay, so on both sides, on the root or on the shoot, it helps in increasing the length of plant. And intercalary meristem, where it is present above and below the stem nodes and leaf bases. So it is present between the mature tissues, and its function is to help in growth of leaves and internodes, right? Secondary meristem, that lateral meristem, its location is at the periphery of root and stem, and it helps in increase the thickness of plant or the girth of plant, you can say. Okay, so its function is to increase the girth of plant. So I along with this question I gave some diagrams also as homework in previous lecture. So I hope you have made those diagrams. Thank you.